I was asked the question, how can one make themselves truly happy? Well, first, let me start by saying I believe that in order for us to value and even conceptualize true happiness, we have to be able to recognize the gift of it when it's present, regardless of how minuscule it might be. According to the Bible, in the book of James, chapter 1 and 17, it reads, "Whatever is good and perfect comes down to us from God our Father, who created all the lights in heaven. He never changes or casts a shifting shadow." Now, I think at this point it would be safe to say that things that we consider good and perfect to us are the things that equate happiness. Our gratitude must belong to God then, because He is the one who's truly responsible for it. We, however, to some degree and unfortunately contribute greatly to and are responsible primarily for a lot of our sadnesses. And when we find ourselves in these dark and dismal moments in life, we rarely, if ever, look for God unless we're looking for Him to resolve the issue at hand. Not often enough do we take a step back to see the full picture of what's going on and who's contributing to what. And that in of itself prohibits us from acknowledging God and feeling His presence. He has been and will always be there, even and especially in the midst of our more tumultuous storms. He said so in His Word, and that He will never leave us nor forsake us. He also says in His Word that if we seek, we shall find. And in doing so, once we recognize that He is in every moment and aspect of our lives, it often gives us reason to smile. And isn't smiling a clear indication of some degree of happiness? So then we must consider the question that is being asked and possibly rephrase it. Maybe it should go something like, how do we recognize and embrace happiness in this life, so that we can continue to move forward and grow through whatever we go through without getting discouraged, weary, and worn out. Instead, become more inspired and encouraged enough to continue to move forward, knowing that there will always be varying degrees of both sadness and happiness, and depending on which one we choose to embrace in any given moment will be the deciding factor of how we've chosen to live our lives, either happily or otherwise.